TalkSport, who always twist a knife into Scottish football, have been forced to apologise. Welcome back to Fog Football, and we're going to look at Simon Jordan's comments and also Jason Cundy and that FUD O'Hara, because Celtic, of course, defeated Leipzig 3-1 in a very, very good display. There's no two ways around it. I mean, people are labelling it one of the best Celtic displays in years. And to be honest, you can't really disagree with it. I mean, beating the team that's sitting second in the Bundesliga 3-1 quite comfortably after going a goal down when you could have folded it. You know what I mean? Because you're against a top Bundesliga side. Leipzig did miss a chance to go 2-0 up, but here it doesn't matter because it's if buts, maybes, and what you've got to deal with is absolutes. And Nicholas Kuhn went, well, you know what? I'm the man. It was Mintz last season. For whatever reason, he's turned Mintz into the finest burger you'll see because, well, I don't know what's happened, man. We went for Nicholas Kuhn like, oh, Celtic aren't even going to get a return on the 4 million they've spent on him. He's got to go. He's a flop, to people demanding 40 million for the guy. Like, how mental's that? Like, to me, that's absolutely crazy. How Nicholas Kuhn has turned his career around. It just shows you, man. Yeah, I get it. The guy was only in the door like a couple of months before people were writing him off, but it shows you how it can be turned around. And Luis Palma, who's also, been written off, he's been on obviously a lot longer than Kuhn. I mean, the extra 6 months at the start of last season. But he should look at him and be like, you know what? If he can do it, why can't I? It's all about work ethic as well. You can have bags of quality, but you've got to, cement yourself in there. But Simon Jordan has praised Celtic. He claims they're worthy of Champions League football. I've got to give credit to Brendan Rodgers as I've given him a lot of stick over the last year, and I think it's appropriate to say, well done. And I tell you what, you've got to say well done. Brendan Rodgers, you thought after the Dortmund game and in the comments about, well, we're not going to change our approach. You thought it was written on the wall. You thought it was going to be scudding after scudding after scudding, but it turns out the scudding is being dished to other teams other than Celtic football. Well, I mean, 3-1's not exactly a scudding, but I tell you what, man, it's a great result. But yeah, Simon Jordan, he does always twist the knife in, but he's not as bad as Jason Cundy and O'Hara, who we're going to move into now, because these, has anyone seen City? Has anyone seen Celtic? Has anyone seen Rangers? It's like, fucking grow up, mate. He deserves a fucking slap around the coupon for the way he gets on TalkSport. Greeting his fucking eyes out. But yeah, this is what he said. This is what he said following the victory, Celtic's victory against Leipzig. I wonder what... I tell you what though, bet he his arse fold it, Now, he did say that Celtic were embarrassing British football previously, but now he's turned around and said things otherwise. As he got into a wee debate there with a caller called Mark on TalkSport. He said, yeah, they're almost into the playoffs. I don't know whether you are. Every year you say the same thing, you lot. This was in reference to Mark, the caller, who said we're getting better and stronger under Brendan Rodgers. But see, that's just Cundy being... So the problem with TalkSport, right, and other medias is that you've got people who just don't have a clue about certain leagues. Cundy doesn't have a clue. Celtic fans were not saying last year under Brendan Rodgers that they were getting better and better. They weren't. We all know it, right? Last year, 23-24 season, it's in the books, but Celtic were struggling big time, especially at the first part of last season in the Champions League. They didn't look like they were building on anything. Poor results, etc. Poor discipline as well. You can clearly see that Celtic have built since then, and if Cundy can't see that, it is what it is. He went on to say, listen, well done tonight, but you did embarrass British football. O'Hara then laughed and said, apologise to Celtic, come on, I think it's about time. They've shown they're the real deal. They've shown they can compete in the Champions League at this level against both sides. They beat Leipzig, really good team. Atlanta are a good team. Apologise. Cundy then went on to say, goal difference 0. You can see it at 9 in 4 games. But you did score 9, to be fair. I'll tell you what we do. We'll have this conversation in 3 weeks, put it on hold, but I've got a funny feeling though. I don't think you'll phone us back, Mark. Who have you got? Mark then said Young Boys and Club Bruges. Cundy then said we're Young Boys. Mark said they're down the bottom, so we beat them. They're struggling. They're 35. You're definitely beating Young Boys. They've got Club Bruges as well. You know what? I think you might be through. Do you still want to have that conversation? We will have it. I know what Celtic are like, Mark. They might go through automatic. If they go through automatic, I'll definitely apologise. You know what it's like. You've got to be a terrible team. All you've got to do is finish in the top 24. We're not top. We're not a terrible team though. Jason, end of quote. Right, but it's like, but see, I don't know the English team's Champions League fixtures off by heart, right? But see if Cundy's going to get into a debate here about Celtic and they've got no chance of going through and things like that and they're awful and they're this and that. He should know. Anyone with a fucking brain and who's appearing on television and radio should be up to date in the stats and the knowledge that they need to be. Now, I'll admit, seeing folk football, we are relatively knowledgeable, but this is our own channel. We don't owe shit to anybody. We don't need to set up ourselves up to TalkSport standards. We're not getting paid the amount of money they're getting at the end of the day. But the reality is, if I'm going to talk about, Arsenal or Man City and about their Champions League fixtures, I would get up to date and know what's going to happen. So for Cundy to just come out and blindly say this, to me it's ridiculous. And obviously when you look at Celtic's fixtures, Zagreb, Bruges, Young Boys and Villa, they can they're through. Make no mistake about it. Even if Leipzig scud at them 8-0, they're still through, I thought, because you'd expect them to win. Last night pretty much just guaranteed it. He went on then to say, tonight you weren't, well done, congratulations, but they've got it in their locker. Mark, fair play to you, great, so I'm happy for Celtic, seeing them doing the Champions League final, it's taking some time. They've done nothing yet, mate, a broken clock is right twice a day, they've beaten Leipzig and draw with Atalanta, it is one game, Dortmund. And you know what, you've got to agree with O'Hara. O'Hara's actually defended Celtic there, because see at the end of the day, there's a lot of embarrassing results. So Rangers get beat 7-1 by Liverpool, right? Celtic get beat 7-1 there by Dortmund. It's awful. They're awful results. No one's going to try and fucking spin them, right? Or whatever. Injury crisis, collapse, arse, right? But loads of teams get battered. I mean, English football. I mean, Man City get... Honestly, what's worse, right? Rangers and Celtic getting beat 7-1 by Liverpool and Dortmund, or Man City getting beat 4-1 by Sporting Lisbon, when you consider the finances on display, right? And I don't want to talk, because in fact it's a pathetic excuse, but I think City losing 4-1's worse than the other ones. That's just me though. Anyway, that's TalkSport reacting to Celtic's Champions League victory. What do you guys think? And of course, it's Thursday night. The real competition's tonight. Rangers against Olympiacos, Hearts against Heidenheim. We'll be back. There'll be chaos. I'm looking forward to it. Till next time, your big comments down below.